right? The magic is ready to unfold.
Grab your snacks. The show is about to start.
It is. The show has begun.
The show has begun.
Holy shit. Well, here we are.
We
Full
are
effect.
here.
If you're
Happy
here,
Halloween.
happy Halloween.
A little early.
Yeah, quite a fucking show for you tonight. But let's start off.
Absolutely.
Let's start off with a little bit of bullshit, right? That happened during this week. Ten Hag, whatever you want to fucking call him. He is the clown prince of football as it stands. United sacked him Monday morning, and now they're going after Sporting CP's Ruben Amorim, which I'm pretty sure that deal is basically fucking done. We'll explain why that's funny to us later.
Absolutely.
When we get into it, welcome to the Snobby Boys. All right, everybody, welcome to the Snobby Boys Halloween special. We are here dressed up, if you're not watching, as the primary characters or a few of the primary characters of the Ted Lasso for Halloween. Let me introduce to you my good friend and coach of your AFC Richmond squad, Mr. Ted Lasso, a.k.a. Joe. And then, of course,
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Good to hear, mate. All right. That was not close. That was not even.
I love the effort, though.
Best team in the land in all the world. Yeah, we are, except we sucked ass tonight. We'll get into that in a little bit. Before we do, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bells, make sure that you get up to date on all of our bullshit. Joe.
Yes, sir.
Ted. Excuse me, coach.
The all-ball coach.
What are we on about tonight?
Tonight, we will be starting the show off with the Ballon d'Or results. I heard that's some big trophy over in France. That's what I heard
about. Yeah, I heard. You did it, yes. It's only the most prestigious trophy in the world.
There you go. Now we're getting into it. I like it.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into all the happenings right off the bat with the new and reigning Ballon d'Or champion, Mr. Rodri, and all the craziness that went down on Monday. We will jump into from there the Tottenham match today from less than an hour ago. So we'll be fresh in our minds and everybody's all amount of excitement that was that match. Then we will hit some city and community news and updates. Talk a little bit about Bournemouth afterwards. Quick turnaround on that match this Saturday. And then we're going to wrap it up with a little bro talk featuring a little flavor of the show Ted Lasso, obviously, since we are currently decked out like Roy Kent in Mr. Teddy Lasso.
Halloween edition.
And then talking a little fun, hopefully with the chat. Hopefully we get some chat going, and we'll talk a little Halloween, favorite Halloween movies, things like that, favorite traditions you might have, those kind of things around the big day that is tomorrow night for the kiddos and the adults that love this special holiday. So, Ballon d'Or, man.
Yeah, Ballon d'Or. Sorry for coming to you guys on like what is probably known to most as kind of the evil part of this holiday. Although I think we got a smack in the face for that. But let's talk about Ballon d'Or. Excuse me, Ballon d'Or. I need to correct myself because Ballon d'Or.
You got it.
I got it. So let's kick this off, right? Team of the year. Men's team of the year. Where were they?
They were nowhere to be found. They were not there to accept their award.
Porqué.
And their
Rock
manager
Holland.
also won Manager of the Year too. He also was not in attendance. Every other award, a winner was in attendance to accept the award. Um,
Isn't that weird?
but it seemed early in the day on Monday, news was breaking that Real Madrid was not going to be in attendance. They decided they weren't going to show up. They weren't going to show up because they apparently got wind that their boy, their golden boy, Mr. Vinicius Jr., was not going to win the trophy, which they expected and were entitled to, should have been given, all of the things you want to say, and decided they were going to have a temper tantrum and not show up. And then they did the worst thing you could do, which is enable that behavior from him by saying, nobody's going to go. We're not showing up the day of. And out of support for Vinicius Jr., because he should have won it. He deserved it more than everybody else. And it's just so that obviously, with them not deciding to show up, leads everyone to who inevitably won the award, which was us, Mr. Rodri.
Mr. Rodrigo Hernandez Cascante.
First Man City player to win the Ballon d'Or. First player playing for a Premier League side to win it since 2008 when Ronaldo won it for Man United. And only the third player from England playing in England to win the award. I think Michael Owen won it a while back too for Liverpool. So big moment for us. And then all of the lead up talk was all about Real Madrid because they were being selfish, crybaby ass, entitled whiners and made this whole thing about them.
Yes.
So disrespectful to everybody else that showed up. Barcelona women's team won Team of the Year. They had 4 or 5 players there, plus some of the executives, I think, all showed up on the stage to support. Colby, remind me who won it last year.
I'm pretty sure it was the GOAT himself, Messi.
Yeah. Who finished second? Do you remember?
It was the only Nordic I know, Mr. Erling Braut Holland.
And if I remember correctly, he showed up knowing that Messi was probably going to win and congratulated him on Instagram, did all the things a respectable and classy human being would do by showing up out of respect for the person who won the award instead of making it all about him not getting the award.
Listen, but for me, if this is the team that you follow, this is the team that you support, and you allow, if you've got children that you allow to support this team, let me tell you what kind of human being that makes you look like. This is the most classless act I have ever seen in any sport. Most catty, juvenile, immature display I have honestly ever seen. And the fact that you were okay that the media just like exploited it, that's pathetic. Like, and I'm being real here. Of all the Spanish teams aside from our sister club Girona, like, and most people who know me and have been around this podcast and know I don't like La Liga. I don't like La Liga play. I think it's overhyped. I felt Real was the classier of the big clubs. I thought Barcelona was the least classy because they don't even know how to fucking use their goddamn money. But now here we are, and I can't think of them as anything lower than they shouldn't even be in La Liga. Like, I'm not saying that they don't deserve. No, they don't deserve. That is what I'm saying. They don't deserve to be there at that high level, especially when you're in the top tier of your country or of a country's league for this sport. It is an expectation that you show up, even though you're going to fucking lose, to support the other people who did. Because God knows we've all been supporting fucking Barcelona and any other fucking player that's come out of La Liga that's won this fucking prestigious award. It's bothersome. It's disgusting.
It's wild that their behavior has made me agree with somebody I never thought I would agree with. Javier Tebas,
And
who is the
oh yeah,
president of La Liga, came out and said, "I am a Real Madrid fan. The most important values of this club are being a gentleman and shaking hands when you lose. I think Real Madrid lost that spirit a long time ago. They should have gone to the ceremony and not questioned France football systems, which is transparent with 100 journalists voting. Real's victimhood is unnecessary and exaggerated. I don't know where they want to go." I 100% agree with everything he just said, and
yeah,
I can't
yep.
stand that dude. So, like, the fact that I'm agreeing with someone like that, who's consistently banging on Manchester City, kudos to him for finally coming out and saying something about it, because absolutely utter ridiculousness from Real Madrid. And what it does is and what makes me the most angry is it's so disrespectful to our guy who won, who by every category, every criteria that you use to vote for this, 100% deserve to win the award. And what they're doing by throwing a temper tantrum, putting all this attention on themselves, hyping up their dude, is just, and pretty much essentially saying he's unworthy and doesn't deserve it, is just absolute bullshit. Because he has done things Vinicius Jr. didn't do. It's clear as day that he was a justified winner of the award. Doesn't matter that Vinicius scored more goals. I just the disrespect level is out of control, and for them to consistently be linked with wanting to go buy Rodri at some point, want to go buy Erling Haaland at some point. Guess who's not going to do business with y'all anymore? Manchester
Bingo,
City.
bingo.
Rodri's never going there now after the way y'all treated him.
Right.
But kudos to him also for being one classy individual, because when he accepted the award, he pointed out other players. He said, "I couldn't have done this without Manchester City. Us, my teammates award too. This isn't just for Spain, for Manchester City. This isn't just an award for me. This is an award for them." And it's really upsetting because he's a Spanish-born player. Real Madrid is a Spanish club.
Didn't
What am
he
I
win
like?
the Euros for you guys?
Yes.
Like, and you think Vinny, who's from Brazil, is more deserving?
And
Make
then
that make sense.
he comes out on Instagram like the next day saying, I doesn't matter how they're not ready. I'll do it 10 times over, and they're not going to do any, like, it just, how about you show some class, which you're
Well, I'm
incapable of, and just say congratulations. But that's not in him.
as part of the outline of who the nominees are for Ballon d'Or. One of the rules in it is that you have to have a presence of class,
Mm-hmm.
a presence of respect towards your fellow players, not only on your team but on the opposing. We just missed that. Just over, whoop,
Yep.
well overshot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how anybody can think that he was at all deserving of this award. And furthermore, I'm pretty sure the Ballon d'Or selection is based on the previous year and what they do within that year, right? New
Mm-hmm.
football season typically starts the week 1 of league. So that means Euros count and everything else. Oh, the hat trick he just scored did not bump him up in position.
That don't
Ever.
matter.
Literally, that might happen. That might matter for next year if he
Mm-hmm.
continues on a track. But who knows that he's going to? We don't. He don't even know that. And for him to put that out there, what's up, Nick? Glad to see you in here, bud. To even think that he has a shot at it with this type of behavior, not only from him but from the club, you've got to be high off your fucking ass if you think that that's going to happen. UEFA ain't having none of it. FIFA ain't having none of that. I'm just saying.
I do
If you're over
love.
here, if you were over here and you did that shit, dude, you would be nailed on a fucking cross.
Yeah, there's not enough people, big name folks like Tebas and others coming out to criticize this. There's entirely way too many Real Madrid fans and Brazilian fans making excuses for their behavior and continuing to entitle Vinicius to act the way he does because they see no problem with what he did. You know who did have a problem with it and came out and said it on his stream, which is our one and only Kun Agüero. Well deserved. Rodri is the best player in the world. Football is for everyone, not only Real Madrid. They feel so entitled. Kun coming to the defense of our boy Rodri. You have to love that. And the one that really got me was a former Ballon d'Or winner in Karim Benzema, who's supposed to embody the things that you just mentioned. Being a gentleman, being classy, having good sportsmanship, those kind of things. And
did you ever see Benzema in the news for some bullshit? I don't remember. Yeah.
And he comes out and says, I spoke to Vinny. He's sad. Boo-hoo. I have nothing against Rodri, good player, but I'm in my sofa watching TV, and Rodri doesn't do anything that makes you say, wow. Did he not watch the 2023 Champions League final where he scored the game-winning goal? That's not a wow moment? That just tells me you watch no Manchester City games whatsoever unless we're playing you.
Right.
Because there was so many wow moments from Rodri over the last year and change for club and for country.
And literally, that's gaslighting. You're literally going to go out there and tell people that he didn't do anything inspiring in order to attain this award. When there's a body of work that he produced all through that season, like, what? We were waiting for this fucking comment.
Outstanding.
Thanks,
outstanding.
Listen,
barbecue sauce.
My boy, barbecue sauce. Yeah, my homeboy over here. My hand's going the wrong way.
That's okay.
My homeboy. Listen, Coach Lasso is looking very, very Ted right now, and I'm loving it. Give him a round of applause.
One of these numbers for me. Yeah. So it was just. I'm just so happy we won. I was watching the ceremony at Elliot's practice at Liverpool, and it's on my phone, and I'm just sitting here waiting because they're talking. I love me some George Weah, but my goodness, they were dragging that joint out. Yeah, thank you. Exactly, Steve. Yeah, that's exactly. Shut the fuck up, Karim Benzema. It's not about you, my guy. And I'm just like celebrating, pumping my fist, yelling, let's go. Come on, Rodri. Rodri's on fire, like on the sidelines with all these people around me. I'm like, zero F's given at that point.
Nope.
So there's no criteria. Nope. No criteria where you can say he wasn't a deserving candidate, that he shouldn't have been given the first. And if the pictures that were floating around on X and everything early Monday of like the point totals, it was pretty damn close. I don't think it should have been that close, to be honest with you. If for an attacker to win, yes, their team has to do well, but you also have to have an absurd amount of like goal and assist contributions. And he's nowhere near the top 10. There's I think he in the league, in La Liga, not counting Champions League, he had the same amount of goal contributions as Jean-Philippe Mateta at Crystal Palace. That's a Ballon d'Or winner to you? No. Erling Haaland had 90 goals and didn't win it. So what we're not going to do, 3. Ooh, 4.
Yeah, dude, that deserved all the horns. I'm 100% on you with that. Like, I just the goal line post movement in this sport,
yes, yep,
is asinine to me. It makes
and it's
absolutely no sense. It is. It's literally gone to a whole level I couldn't even fucking fathom. I really cannot understand the mindset of. I get people being biased, right? We're used to that here in America, especially when it comes to our National Football League teams. Mm-hmm. We totally get it. there's 100. If you're a Cowboys fan, like, you're probably the fucking worst. You'll stand on ceremony every fucking year saying that you're going to win it, and guess what? We all know that you ain't. But we just let you run that rhetoric because we know it isn't true. Some of the shit that they say in this sport, especially when it comes to the Spanish crowd, they will say anything just to say it. It's like whatever crazy little thought decided to come into their fucking head, they felt that it was necessary enough to put into ink on the internet. You all look ridiculous. You look dumb. And how many times do you get proven wrong and you still then turn around and try to say the other person's wrong? That's gaslighting, guys. That's gaslighting. And that whole tactic, for us, it's completely exposed now. Completely see it everywhere at this point, and it's laughable. Exactly. We see you. We see you doing it. We appreciate all of our citizens who are actually fucking thinkers and don't fucking just run with whatever they fucking can. There are some that do it. I'm not going to say that there aren't, but on the majority, from what we have learned, there are not. Also, I want to make a quick, just off the topic reference. I'm loving what I'm seeing in the comments right now. The fact that the guys know each other. That's fucking awesome. More of that. Hey guys, call your friends in here too.
Most dope.
Absolutely awesome.
Nick, you're spot on. Also, we had our moment where we were like, you know what, Holland should have won it. Wet Messi. They were pretty much waiting the World Cup, which happened the season prior to the award being handed out, as a heavily weighted factor for Messi. And I get it. That's fine. It's Messi. But and again, like we talked about, Holland was extremely classy afterwards. You didn't see us throwing temper tantrums. You didn't see, for a club that everybody loves to hate on, which is us, you didn't see us throwing shade, throwing temper tantrums, talking bad.
No.
It was nothing but respect for Messi. And from Pep and everybody else, it's nothing but love and respect from our players towards the whoever won whatever it is.
It comes from a place of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Place of understanding. Understanding that the body of work that Messi has put in prior to Erling Haaland even jumping into this league. I mean, that has to account for something when you're talking about somebody as old as he is, even in the conversation for.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially when he was on the heels of just moving to an MLS team, which, let's be real, nobody respects the MLS even though he's there. Nobody respects it. Not even we respect it that much, to be quite fair.
It's entertainment at this point.
It's
still.
That's
what it is.
Face value, it's entertainment.
Because everybody wants to see him.
Right.
That's what it is.
But you don't even understand what it costs for a ticket just to go see him because of the contract that he has with Adidas and the MLS when they go to visiting cities. I mean, for DC alone, which is where we're based out of in the DC area, so our team would be naturally DC United, right? To go see Inter Miami play at Audi Field in DC, that's a $2,000 ticket, y'all.
It's like a couple G's, and that's not a good seat.
It's not a good seat. And no, it's not to say that there's a bad seat in that place, but it's still the fact that I'm spending literally
on 10
times on one ticket, 10 times what I would to go sit in the nosebleeds of an NFL team. That's preposterous, especially for a model that has not even proven itself here.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say on the whole Vinicius Jr. Real Madrid thing, the fact that his camp, Brazilians and the like, were so quick also to throw out he didn't win it. They didn't want him to win it because he's trying to fight systemic racism and because he's, darker skinned. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't want to get too deep into this because it's a more involved conversation. But
Surely.
the fact that they were so quick to throw that out there and go ahead and do that was just utterly classless. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. And the fact that you want to bring that up in conversation is it just shows what we talked about earlier, the character of the folks who are making these kind of comments.
For sure. Hey, Cam, I was going to hit you up, but then we shit-housed everything, and didn't really feel it was worth talking about because we already knew that you were going to fucking win. Per pet. 2 weeks ago.
Plus, maybe
But I
just
love you, buddy.
I can't remember where you put this in the notes, but maybe it's a good time to talk about it because plus, Cam, the game didn't end until damn near 6:30, and we were going on at 7, bro, because for whatever reason, the English folks
Oh, yeah.
went ahead and skipped ahead a week and decided that last weekend was the time to fall back or whatever it is. So it was on at 4:00 our time. I know it was 8:00 normal time for y'all, but like it threw off the schedule for sure. Because usually when the game comes on at 3, done by 5, and that gives us 2 hours to prep for the show. For the fact that it went on at 4:15, we got 0 prep time. It was like
when did I'm sorry for our English brothers
Go.
that are in here tonight. Who in the fuck told y'all that you were the center of fucking time? I just want to know that. Y'all just changed the time like before everybody else in the world. So it screwed up everything for us today. Yeah. And Cam's actually, he's 3 hours behind us.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I mean, I'm not sure where he was in the day with work or whatnot, but like that'll fuck y'all up too. Like, yeah, ridiculous. Let's all get on the same page, world, right? You know,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a new world order. Okay, I'm just saying when everybody shifts the time, everybody shifts the time. Unless you're Indiana or Arizona, whom just choose not to do it at all. If you didn't know, now you know.
Out of control.
Right. Out of fucking control. Let's push into this Tottenham review. Everybody expect Cam to say a lot. I'm expecting.
And you know what? Y'all won. So talk your shit, man.
Talk all your shit, but understand that it comes with a little bit of a bumper, considering what I just said, that Pep 2 weeks ago in his presser made it very, very clear that this competition is null and void to him. He does not want to put his eggs into this basket. It does not matter for him. So for you guys, I hope that you capitalize on this opportunity having won against us. And yeah, you're welcome.
That tells you all you need to know about the mentality of City today. We went down 2-0. Brought one back at halftime, and Pep made all 5. Pep never ever makes all 5 changes. That is a rarity. And not one of them was to put on the best striker in the world to get you back in the game.
Nope.
That should tell everybody exactly what we thought about today's match. And it was clear that from the get-go, because that continued. Yeah, exactly. You want to be. That's exactly right. And you guys did your job. You did exactly your job.
You did a good job on us today. And one of the things that we have had a problem with for a very long time is the anticipation of the counter. And y'all fucking rocked the counter on us several times tonight, and it panned out for you at least twice. So,
from the jump, we were clearly not as interested as Tottenham. Tottenham clearly wanted it more than we did, which is to be expected. We talked about this on Sunday, where this cup competition is not one that is a priority for us anymore. But for Tottenham, like this, who hasn't won a major trophy in a while, this is important for them. And for Timo Werner especially, for him to get that first goal on not an easy finish. They were talking on the broadcast that it wasn't that complicated. That was a difficult finish. Getting a ball sent in across like that with a defender kind of running down your right side.
Timo on your shooting side perfectly.
He hit a beautiful ball, great hit. And again, continuing the trend for us where we're conceding goals in the first 5-10 minutes of a match. And it was a perfect counter. It was a great flick on the wing. I can't remember who did it, but it was a great flick on. And they had a great game plan.
Kulusevski to Timo, was it not?
Yeah, somebody flicked it to Kulusevski. I can't remember who it was, but it was great game plan. They allowed their midfield, and they didn't just sit back the whole time. They allowed their midfield to run, work hard, and they kept some guys high. So there were outlet balls to be had. instead of just packing 10 dudes around the 18, they actually had guys with pace. That was the problem for us today. We did not have the pace to
We
match
were we
Timo and
were
Kulusevski.
very much outpaced today, which
So
honestly, I don't. Vardy all hurt in
he was
this?
getting some treatment
Akanji
after
was
the
hurt.
match. He was getting some treatment after the match.
Yeah.
Gvardiol
Akanji was
so
definitely out, but there's a caveat to that because if everybody saw him on the bench, him and Erling were having a nice time.
they
So
were
I
having a
don't
great
know
time.
that he was really that hurt. I don't know
I
that
think
he's really that hurt.
I think
Although
Akanji's one that's
let's
just
hope this isn't an Anthony Richardson situation where you just pull yourself out of the game. If you don't
well,
know NFL, that reference won't make it to your brain. This past weekend, the Indianapolis Colts quarterback decided to essentially remove himself from the game because he did not feel he was good enough or his spirits were broken. So that's where I'm getting with that. Anyways, moving forward.
he was tired. He was tired. He just needed a quick refresh. That's all.
Yeah, Savio is the biggest concern at this point.
100%.
Nick had put up Rodri, KDB, Walker, Doku, Grealish, Bobs. 6 first-team players are injured today. Another one, Savio, and Akanji. So there's that. We don't know what to the extent of. Steve Black is saying Kanji a muscle injury. He'll be okay in the next. Yeah, exactly. And we're going to international break, guys. So a lot of what's happening, especially today, could be null and void going forward. We obviously got to see what's going on with Savinho. But let's talk about this starting 11 because I think for a lot of us, we all thought it was rather strong considering what Pep had said a couple of weeks ago in his presser about this particular match, that he wasn't really planning on fielding a very strong 11. Considering what we have out, this is an 11 any other team would love to have. Did they perform so well? Obviously not. We'll get into that obviously a little bit more as we go through the finer points of the match. It was wild to see that Akanji was even hurt at the beginning, but Foden up front, I think that didn't pan out so fucking well. Nico
That was the
O'Reilly
backline that they had.
backing him up. Exactly. Yeah. Aka is just coming off. Stones too. I mean, Stones has been in good form until we lose them, and it is all we've got. So I understand the fear behind it. Again, going into international break, you're going to not see a lot of these players playing with their international team. They'll be getting some much needed rest, I would suppose. But yeah, this was rather strong for an 11. Me personally, I thought we should have fielded the younger boys first, let them work, see what was going on. We would have conceded those 2 goals either way.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, we would have conceded those 2 goals. So not really worried about what was in the attack because that's what most of the youngsters would have been, aside from the guy who has a last name that sounds like Pussy or looks like Pussy.
Simpson.
Simpson Pussy.
Yeah, Simpson Pussy.
Yeah.
I liked his braids. They look good.
They looked really nice. Whoever did them, very, very done very well. But I mean, much other than that, everybody that was coming up was rather young. So I mean, for me, it would have just happened either way. I don't think anybody expected a lot of a heavy of attack. I mean, Nunez was far and away our best forward in this match. Mm-hmm. He wanted it. Whether we were playing to win or not, he wanted it. And that's what made the difference in his play compared to everybody else's. Now, off-ball movement wasn't so fucking great, if I'm being honest. The movement wasn't so great, if I'm being honest. I felt like everybody felt or looked rather disheveled. Shit. Fuck you, Cam. Talk to Noel.
Yeah. Bingo.
He does seem good. May get more playing time, especially if we do get into the position where we're down multiple center backs, still have to remember that Gavardiol can move in centrally. That's always an option. But yes, he did show himself today as enough to be able to produce something in the first team. So big shout out to him. We'll pull up Steve Black's comment. Nunes cooked first half. Most of the youngsters did well, so a bonus Foden off it. Yeah, it was. To give them the time and much needed time, especially against a higher quality side. I'm not going to say that Tottenham is the upper echelon, but I can honestly,
They're good.
I would take multiple of their players. Timo Werner, you can go fuck off. I've not liked Timo for a while,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
So like,
all
you know,
good.
like I'm for it. Richarlison, literally, like you could just not
I can't
be in
stand
this
that
league.
dude.
I cannot stand him.
Cannot.
Especially
He's
with
the worst.
that platinum
He
blonde
is
hair of his. What is that?
The worst. The worst. So
Fuck you, Cam. Literally, all grievances should go to Noel Gallagher. Yeah, Gundo. That's a whole other thing we'll probably get into in a little bit. Let's go through the match a little bit more. Once we get to the subbing off of Gundo for Mateo, we can divulge into that a little bit more. Timo obviously put them on the board first early. I felt that Rico was off the pace on that one. Felt like he misjudged what was about to happen.
yeah, his angle to the ball wasn't great. He cut in too much instead of staying a little wider, and that created the space for the ball to be played into. Plus, Timo's got a little bit of a step on him because as technical and quick as Rico is, he's not the fastest straight line speed guy, and that's what Timo has. Timo's got pace to burn, and
he's quick in short spaces.
He's quick. He's just not fast.
Exactly.
So
Barcelona ruined Gundo. Hopefully it will get better by the season's end. Yeah. But also let's take into consider age here. 34 is not exactly young when we're talking about football. He's certainly seen better days and younger times, and the pace in which he's at this point is to be expected for a 34-year-old compared to a 28-year-old. I can't give too much shit to him on that. At best, he is a good fill-in plug player that understands the system. I think we've talked about this several times at the beginning of the season, especially before he even came in, what he would mean to this team. And he's done his job, but not quite to the way we're used to Gundo doing his job. So I get the gripe a little bit.
And for him, he's at this point, he's a rotational guy, and you pick and choose the moments to use him. And against a very athletic midfield that Tottenham was putting out there with Betancourt, Sarr, and then when Bissouma came in, they're very athletic, strong, and fast. That's not putting him in the best position to be successful, considering how hard they were pressing, how quick they are, and how just the pace of the game. It was back and forth quite a bit, and that's not his strong suit at this point. So we got to utilize him in ways that make the most sense for where he's at as a player. But considering the injury situation we're at right now, don't really have that luxury because we were missing 6 guys going into this match. So if we had everybody, he probably isn't starting this match. He might be somebody you bring in the last 20 minutes after some legs have gotten a little tired. But he still can be valuable to us and a good player. It's just not going to be to the level that we have seen in the past because it's 2 years down the road from when he was starring for us, really. So it is what it is.
One of the things that I even mentioned earlier, now that we're getting into the match and the finer details, we always get caught off on the counter. When are we going to stop that? How do we stop that?
That's unfortunately just with the way they play, the way we play with a high line. That's how Pep wants to play. So I think he's willing to live with those moments for the ability to possess the ball and the ability to win the ball higher up the field in dangerous places. So it's a tactic thing from Pep for me that he's going to play a high line. He's going to play guys up, much like Tottenham did. They had their center backs very high as well. But for me, it's going to be a tactic thing that unless Pep changes that piece, is going to be something we're going to have to live with, unfortunately. And maybe Ederson plays or Ortega plays a little higher and plays that sweeper a little bit more and just blast things away to clean up those long through balls. But what can you do? Oh,
What can you do?
my screen.
Yeah, I'm messing around with stuff because I really don't like the lack thereof of
All good.
with that going on. It was weird to me.
Nick.
Buy Vinny and play him as a fullback. Wouldn't that be awesome? Listen, I'm just gonna put up this post or this comment that Steve Black put up as far as Rico goes. Rico not being the right back going forward. With the way Pep's playing, I get it. He basically wants him as an inverted right back, playing more of a midfielder's role. Should he move up into the midfield with the way that he plays? Probably. Should we be looking for another right back? Maybe. Is it going to happen soon? I don't think so. There's just not anybody out there in my mind that I can think of that I would want to sign that's young enough to develop under Pep if he's going to stay here for the next couple of seasons. As it stands right now, Ruben Amaron is off the fucking table. Now there's more talk that goes into that, but we both feel that there are several different candidates for whom will replace Pep. And it really is going to kind of have to determine on whether or not these coaches want to deal with somebody who may potentially be a basket case. Pep knows how to reel those motherfuckers in for the most part. That's just from what I see. Somebody like Vinny Jr. or Vincent Company. I didn't say Vinny Jr. Vincent Company. I don't know if he's going to be able to reel in somebody like that. Is he going to be a hard ass on them? Sure. I'm sure he's like that at Bayern right now. But we've also seen some of the results that have come around from Vinny not too encouraging to want to bring him in until he's gotten to a certain place. Yeah. Sorry, I'm catching up with the comments, guys.
You're good.
I would have to figure out where that.
He's talking about. He posted that when I was talking about us playing a high line.
Oh right, okay.
Ange is the same thing. He's willing to deal with some counterattacks and the risk of playing high with balls in behind because of the ability to win it higher up the field. So it's a very similar take from Ange and Pep, and I think Ange took that from Pep's book. So,
Nick, I knew you were joking. I thought it was funny. Just didn't get to laugh at it right in that moment. I'm sorry. Roy Kent might be coming out a little bit. Yeah, nobody wants to be the first manager after Pep, probably. Well, I mean, who's to say Pep won't stick around in some sort of exterior role, maybe even a consultant, if you will. Nick says, since Amarim is going to United, I think the board may sign Nagelsmann after the World Cup. Just maybe. Possibility. Be nice. I mean, he's one of the better German coaches out there. I would take him. He's young. He can certainly, in a mindset, be able to get down to the player's level at in a certain degree, but also with the way Pep things does things, like he's obviously the commanding old guy. So weight and balance, you know what I mean? Checks and balances. It could work out, it couldn't work out. It all depends on what he wants to employ. I really have faith in our front office that they're going to make the right decision when the time comes, and that really, for us, especially sitting on the outside, we really should just take a back seat to the shit and just let it happen. They haven't done anything to give us any type of reason to worry. We're doing just fine. The model is great. You know what I mean? Like, if you compare us to other teams across all sports, um, we literally have the best business model there is out there. I mean, Jerry Jones couldn't compete with this shit. He's been trying to do it since 1995, and even before that, he was trying to do it 30 years before. He only did it because he knew how to spend money at the right time, whenever it was. Luck of the draw, really. Moving forward, 20 minutes in, or 20 minutes after that Timo Werner goal, Saar puts it in. And then it's really just a whatever match up until the 45-minute mark. Got an extra 5 minutes. Nunez puts it in. We don't.
Great cross by Savinho.
Great
Beautiful
cross
in. And
yep.
that's a difficult finish that Nunez put in. Hitting it into the ground was the smart move because that's very difficult for the keeper to make any kind of save on a ball bouncing like that. And he made sure that in doing so, it wasn't going to just get skied over the top of the crossbar. So hitting it into the ground was absolutely the right finish and the way to go about it. So Nunez, again, goal contributions. Once again, another match, another time where he's doing that. And I definitely agree with Steve. He just mentioned Ortega misjudged Spurs second. He did not get set when the shot was happening. Either he didn't see the guy because of the traffic, or he just was not expecting it. But that I felt like he could have done better with that one. It was a beautiful hit by Saar. If you saw it's very Rodri-esque, where it bent around the defenders and then outside the post and then snuck back in. But it's just it didn't do much for me. They scored. Oh well, I'm not too chuffed about it. It is what it is, man.
No.
And I saw the the Alonso rumors. Until we know anything about how long Pep is either going to extend or if he leaves, we really can't drum up a list of candidates, because if Pep decides to leave, then we can talk about it. But if he signs another year or two contract, what those other people are mentioning, they might get other jobs. Alonso might decide to go to Real Madrid because Ancelotti decides to leave this year, and then he goes there. Or Ancelotti stays, Pep stays, and Xabi stays for a little bit longer too. It's just all for me, it's until we know what's going on with Pep, there's really no point in bringing up too many names, just because a lot can change in 6 months. So
shit.
So we'll see.
We could only hope, right?
How nice would that be?
We could only hope. Let's plow through the second half, because honestly, it wasn't much of shit. Just a lot of substitutions. First time we have seen Pep employ 5 substitutions and a half, probably in a while. I mean, unless you're talking about
happen very often.
Unless you're talking about preseason, it just doesn't happen. First to start that off was Mateo and Yasko off for Gundo and Diaz at the half. Shortly thereafter, Bernardo was put on for Foden. And then fast forward to Savio getting hurt, and that put in Jacob Wright.
I liked what I saw out of him. He had a couple of wasted opportunities. However, he showed a lot more in this cameo appearance against Tottenham than we saw from him over the summer, because he was on the summer tour. He featured a bit for us during our preseason matches. But he's way more technically skilled than I gave him credit for. I thought he was more of just a defensive mid, breaking up play. But he had some half turns that reminded me of McAtee, Foden, and Bernie. So he's got a little something. He definitely caught my eye as somebody to keep an eye on. But I liked what I saw from Jacob. He looked good to me. Unfortunate that he couldn't finish some of those chances, but he was getting into great places and doing some really nice things. So
I have to agree with you, Steve. Really, on the whole, everybody looked rather disheveled, and to the point of not understanding what the tactics were, or who should be where, at what time, whatever. Everything just seemed very off timing today. Nobody was in a rhythm. Nobody really seemed to care. And honestly, that's okay. Like, dude, we have so much football ahead of us still. So much football. This comp, at this point, where we're at with this club, it really doesn't matter. Is the silverware nice? Sure. I think everybody would like silverware, regardless of what it is. But at the end of the day, our eyes are set on the bigger prizes, and this was not one of them. So, yeah, I'm okay with everybody having an off day on this one. Kudos to Tottenham. Basically, they're moving on. The draw happened as we were getting ready, so I don't know who's playing here at this point. Yeah. And if they, at the end of the day, Tottenham wanted it more. They wanted it more because at this point we're talking about 15 years without a trophy. You now have a coach who has stood on a soapbox and said that he wins shit in his second year. Well, this is now your time to prove that. Otherwise, Tottenham's going to be kicking you to the fucking curb if you don't. And I fully expect that. As much as I love Ange Postecoglou, I think I like his mentality. Not necessarily his tactics all the way. His mentality is great. I love the words that he's spoken through the media on several occasions. But unless they capitalize on this tournament and do something, I just don't see him sticking around. I think Daniel Levy is at his wit's end with this of not winning. But also that goes into the same question we were talking about earlier of who's the candidate for them if he's not staying, if they don't plan on keeping him. You know what I mean? So that's the end of the match. We are literally 7 minutes extra time into what we're normally doing. So we're going to throw up our little halftime thing, come back. After that, we're going to hit city news and community news, and then Bournemouth preview, and we're going to finish off Bro Talk Halloween style. So we will be right back.
All Manchester City fans are glory hunting plastics. Every single one of them seems to have supported them since the 70s, even though they were only born in the 90s. But I'm willing to give Manchester City Plastics an opportunity to prove me wrong.
Make sure you go check out the Snobby store. Obviously, I don't have a QR code down there this time, but make sure you do go check it out. See our full lineup. We may be releasing a new shirt for the holiday, considering the recent form that we've been on here on the show about dumb Americans and how we don't know fucking shit, but then we somehow or another can call a game before it happens. I don't know. It's weird. So let's get into the second half of this shit. City and community news. First things first. I'm going to read the comments.
Yep.
Poor Van Ness gets his probably only chance to manage, does the job, and then going to be out of a job. Dude, I really can't understand this hiring, we were going to get into it a little bit later, but now that you've brought it up, we might as well just do it now.
Let's do it now.
I can't understand for the fucking life of me, first of all, why there is this continued rotation of former players at United thinking that they're going to do the job. I understand to a certain degree of loyalty and wanting to build within the club and do all of that. I mean, there's a lot of companies everywhere that like to hire within, right? I get that, but it has not boded well for you very over the last decade. It just hasn't. I think having fresh legs in Amaron coming in is probably a good thing. However, on the heels of that, all you're trying to do is be us because initially, City were touted to be signing him as our replacement, considering that we brought in Viana as director of football. Now that is ceasing to exist, and he's going there. What do you think is going to come of this? I mean, I really can't think of any other statement other than that. What do you think is going to come of this? Like, do you really think that he's going to be an improvement?
This seems to me like he was getting heavily linked to us, and they were like, let's go do the release clause and get him before City gets a chance to get him. Great. I liked him as a manager. I do. Like, I thought he was a good guy, and has done really good with Sporting. But I'm not sure that he's the savior of any club at this point in time. So for them to almost seem like a panic buy and panic move to just throw cash at them and bring him in, whether he fits or his system fits with the players that they currently have, doesn't seem like the right move to me. It seems like United is doing what they perpetually do year in and year out and just fling cash at people that they hear are good without any real thought into, does his system fit the players we currently have? Or maybe we should just go the caretaker route like we've done in the past, get through this season, and then do a real evaluation all season long over who the right candidate is. That would have been the move to me, but I am not running Manchester United, nor would I ever want to.
Nope.
So it's just, it doesn't seem like the right move to me. I don't usually see managers come in not mid, but maybe a third of the way into the season like this and turn around their chances, because he's going to he doesn't play the same type of ball that Erik ten Hag played with them. He plays a different system. He plays a different formation. So, and I don't think they have the players to run the system that he wants to run. So it could be a bumpy ride if he is indeed brought in within the next week. So
I agree with this. As far as it's going to take time to build a system, but here is the golden question: is United going to be patient enough to allow that to happen? Everybody needs more than a year, absolutely, with the exception of even in Pep's system. People still need a full year to even into the second for them to be at all a difference maker within the club. Yeah, I mean, it's they're on the struggle bus. They're on the struggle bus. They don't know how to. Their talent scouting is absolute shit, just ass. I mean, you bring in somebody like Bruno Fernandes, however long you have it go, and what has he really done for your club other than being an utter fucking nuisance? You're gonna center that around him? Are you gonna somehow like build up Xerxes and make him into something? I don't think he's gonna stick with United, to be honest. I don't think he's the guy. And Højlund, like, he's a hit or miss. You don't know what you're gonna get out of a Marcus Rashford on any given day.
The talent department, their scouting department is whatever the manager wants, that's who we go get. That is not a good business model when your manager has ultimate say, and you just go by. And we know that because Ten Hag just bought a bunch of Ajax players. He just brought in his guys. So we know there wasn't doing a big look around to find the correct player to fit what he needs. He was like, you know what? I used to manage him. I wanted him here. I used to manage him. He's coming. Even if there were better options. So it's they just consistently do the same thing over and over again.
I actually saw a funny clip before you go on. I saw a funny clip about the Ten Hag firing, and there was a guy who put himself on the video and said, "Can you take Anthony with you?"
Right. 95 M's for that dude.
You spend stupid money and then want to turn back around on us and say that we spend ridiculously. No. Like, bro, at least ours do something. And our net spend to yours is like, we're talking
not
about like
close anymore.
$700 million, bro. Pound, excuse me. United needs to do stop thinking they're the player they once were. Exactly. Once they accept that,
to do that.
Once they accept that and lower expectation, they might improve, but doubt they will. And exactly, it's just that they are still caught up in 2000s, 99, 2000s. They're stuck there. They are the Dallas Cowboys of the Premier League. They have not gotten. They're like them in the way that they haven't gotten over that 95 Super Bowl they won against the Steelers. By the way, you beat Neil O'Donnell, who was a shit quarterback.
God awful.
Everybody in the league knew he was a shit quarterback. The only reason the Steelers even got to the Super Bowl was because of the fucking defense. And that, even in itself, we didn't show up that day. They capitalized on it. But ever since then, the Cowboys have got into the playoffs and have not been able, if they've made it to the playoffs, made it out of the first round. They still buy ridiculously. They draft like assholes. The only product that they've had out of the draft that in the last maybe 5 or 6 years is that was half worth of shit. Maybe CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons and some of those defensive players. Not trying to get on American football too far, but I'm trying to make the comparison here of just bringing in players for the sake of their name. That's like they could have brought in Tyreek Hill. At least he would have fucking done something.
He was the one linked pretty heavily.
He was. He was absolutely. So he was.
We'll see what happens there. That's a good point, Steve.
Yeah, and the fact that he didn't even. He may have considered it. He may have, but at the rate in which they're going, the way that Ratcliffe and Ineos are doing this whole fucking shit is. It's the same business model the Glazers have been on for forever. They're not going to improve. Thank God.
You love to see it.
Love to see it. So rumors been floating around that Josko is going to be extending. It's going to be coming. The finalizing is going to be coming soon. Talking about till 2030, y'all, with a significant pay bump. Nick,
Facts.
come on. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that would ever happen? Yeah, it is. It's an utter graveyard there. There's so much.
They're still playing Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans regular minutes at center back. That shit is so funny.
Harry Maguire is a fucking refrigerator that got unplugged. That's what he is. So yeah.
Hopefully that is all happening. I'm excited that they're already in talks with Josko to extend. That means he wants to still be here. He trusts the process. He trusts the club and the direction they're going in. Whether Pep is extending for a year or more or leaving, he trusts the club and doesn't want to go anywhere. So please let that happen. Sign him up. Sign up Erling Haaland for an extension. Let's keep our younger elite talent together.
Let's make that clause in fucking Erling's contract a little bit better this time too, huh? That's all I gotta say on that. He has, dude. He's a Rolls Royce.
Well worth the 90 M's we spent on him.
He's a Rolls Royce. having him until the end of this decade would, oh my God, that would shore up a lot of things for us. Because not only is he a amazing left back, he's equally as good as a center back too. He can help manage a game from the back, but then it also can go all the way up front and position himself to either direct the ball in the right way or score a goal. Those always look pretty when he does that.
Mhm.
So Pep in his presser in all of this concerning Rodri in the Ballon d'Or ceremony decided to take the high road during the presser.
Shocker.
And said, shocker, right? In typical sarcastic form, Pep said, it's fine. It's fine. They don't want to be there. They don't have to be. It's fine. And that it is. And that it was. It's fine that they weren't there because you know what? I don't want somebody in the fucking crowd raining on my fucking parade. Because I feel like if they would have shown up, that's exactly what they would have done. And I can't even think that the whoever's in there wouldn't have gone down to them and said, none of that shit here. You're going to do that? Get the fuck out. I would have. If I was at the ceremony, even if I was at the ceremony as just somebody spectating, I'd be yelling, "Get the fuck out!" Nobody wanted you here anyway. Very
Still
proud of the way
mind-boggling that they decided to do that, man. Like it's
I don't know if any of you guys saw on our social media, particularly Instagram. I actually made Real a new crest, changing the M to a C to make them the Real Classless Football Club. If you didn't get a chance to see it, go on to our Instagram page at Snobby Pod. Make sure you follow us and then check that shit out and share it because it's still funny today.
You know what exactly all this shit happening is going to lead to? You know damn well
you think
who we're going to get met. No, you know who we're going to get matched up with in the Champions League, right?
That's what I'm saying. You think this is the build
damn
up?
Well,
storyline galore. Let's go.
You know it's going to happen. The magic ping pong balls are going to magically bounce a certain way, and they're going to open it up. And oh my God, look, Manchester City's playing Real Madrid. It is
dude,
totally random. I can't believe this happened. No.
The script,
come on,
script writing.
We see what you're already doing, UEFA. You are not slick. We are already ready for it.
Crazy.
And it likely won't be a final or a semi. It'll be a quarters again, just to drum up interest and all that. So y'all ain't slick.
With the bad narratives, Man City have 5th most followers on Instagram. What is that? Yeah, what platform are you talking about? It won't take out those Sven's last day. We lost 8-1 to Middlesbrough. He was their coach.
Little history lesson right there.
Right.
So also across all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, man, we're a gigantic brand, even though they don't want to admit it at this point. We're still a little club to most of those folks.
So hold on. So who's 1 through 4 above us? I mean, I'm going to assume Barcelona is probably at the
Real
top.
Madrid.
Real Madrid, maybe
United's
PSG.
I think United's probably still up there.
United.
So I would like to see more of that list, though. That's for sure.
Fucking.
If you find it, Nick, drop the link in the chat so we can pull it up.
Please.
Very curious to see. Madrid, Barca, United. Yes, there you go. Well done. Nailed it.
Let's do we want a bro talk first, or do we want a Bournemouth preview first?
Let's Bournemouth it up, knock that out, because it's not a whole lot to talk through, and then we'll wrap. So this is the schedule right now is a bitch. Down in London on Wednesday, got to go back up to Manchester for a couple of days of quick rest, and then a turnaround trip back down to the south coast, down to Bournemouth, and then a quick trip back up to Manchester, and then we got to go out to Portugal midweek on Tuesday, and then come home and go back down to the south, go to Brighton. So the away matches are coming heavy. And with all of that happening, with a quick turnaround for a Champions League match next week,
Injuries.
with the injuries that we have going on, this 100% feels like what Colby mentioned about when we played against Southampton as a potential trap game situation. All of these factors lead to why I think Holland rested as much as he did. We want to save him for Saturday. But man, like just looking at the mileage that they're about to put on and the quick turnarounds, very little rest, very little training time. With all the injuries, it's going to be a tough one. And Bournemouth has been playing pretty good football this season. They're not at the bottom like they were frequently last year. They're playing a lot better. So this is not going to be an easy test this weekend for us.
Mm-mm.
And it really depends on what we get from injury news over the next day or two for our guys who picked up little knocks or a big knock, depending if you're Savinho today, and how healthy some of our other guys are. So can't even begin to predict what a lineup is going to look like.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Ederson is going to probably be in goal. That's about the best I got. And Holland's probably going to start up top. But other than that,
yep.
Who knows what the lineup's going to look like. I'm sure Pep will have them ready to go in the Premier League, which is a little different story. Clearly this match today was not on the priority list. They want, obviously, when you get out there as a player, your competitive juices start flowing, even if you know that this isn't a match that you're really like hyped for. Your competitive juices keep going, but it's not going to be to the level of a different competition that you're more jazzed up for. And our guys pretty much always bring it for Premier League matches. So I expect us to play well. But it's going to be a tough match with all the stuff going around off the pitch that we have to deal with right now.
Yeah. And that
Ederson might play in midfield the way it's going.
I mean,
bro, tell me why I thought about that when we were getting to the end of the match today, when it was like, hey, if we get to penalties, we really don't want to pull Ortega out of goal because he's you really don't want to swap keepers for a shootout. You want to keep the guy who's got the flow of the game in there. But like, would it be worth putting him on the field just to let him take a PK if we needed it? So I was kind of thinking about this today, Steve, where I was like, maybe you put the last minute on and you throw Ederson out on as like the holding midfielder or like a winger or something like that to give us somebody to take a PK. And he can strike a ball, so why not?
He did.
Exactly. Yes, Nick.
He did.
No?
He did, but he soon realized that he wasn't the best on the ball. So let's get into some bro talk. Obviously, it's Halloween, guys. Happy Halloween to you if you celebrate. If you don't,
that's fine too.
It is. Really, it's just at this point in history, it's literally just the candy company's holiday. Let's be real.
And Spirit Halloween stores popping up.
Halloween stores popping up everywhere in random locations, right? For you guys over there that don't know what a Spirit Halloween is, if you check out Josh and Jace, Josh from England, they've been him and Jace. I'm assuming it's like his producer, sidekick, whatever. They've been coming over to America quite frequently over the last couple of years, and they recently just got to experience what a Spirit Halloween store is. You guys have nothing like this over there. This place is an absolute mecca of Halloween costumes and different props and shit and decor and shit like that. So, but it was really cool to see them come over again. And they're actually, from what I understand, they're more on the East Coast. I believe they're doing more of a tour of like New England. I might be wrong on that. They've done the Carolinas. They've done Texas. I want to say they've been out to Cali. I would love to see them in the DMV and see what the DMV is like, because if there's anything that shows you what America looks like on the media, it's just go to DC. Just every asshole imaginable in America is in that 8 square miles. It's awful. Anyways, I hope they do come in, check out the scene, check out some of our local food, especially Baltimore. All the crabs. Crab season, I think, is officially past at this point, but maybe next year we can talk to them somehow, some way, get them to come over here, and we do like a crab feast with them somewhere. I think that would be super cool. Anyways, Halloween, we're here as our favorite characters. 2 particular characters that helped us love the game a little bit more. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how Ted Lasso and that show kind of helped our knowledge and involvement in the game. That sounds like my average high school weekend. I'm not going to lie. Especially where I live out in the country, like bonfires were the shit. That was just an every weekend occurrence. So I'm going to allow Coach Lasso to kind of start it off. I believe he, of the 2 of us, was the later one into the show.
Truth. I had not jumped into Apple Plus like that and decided I was going to change that. So now
before you go ahead and say what you're going to say, but I'm going to cut you off before you go into Ted, because I have to compliment you.
It has now become my comfort show. Anytime I need a pick me up, anytime where I might be feeling a little blue, I can just throw on any episode. It doesn't have to be in order, and it's just going to make me feel much better. It makes me happy. Even the balance of comedy, drama, emotions, tugging on the heartstrings. It's just the perfect show in my opinion. The everything that they did with it, with choosing music, putting it in at the right time, having Mumford and Sons being the theme, just everything, the casting, amazing show, and the fact that it's based around the beautiful game and bringing in the American perspective in a funny way, but also in like a respectful way, I think was just everything, just top notch. Favorite show. Can watch it over and over and over again and never be bored.
Well, I didn't get to compliment you before you went on that tirade, but that mustachio surprise that you gave me today, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you committed to the fucking to the costume.
I must really like you and love you, brother.
A little insight to all of you guys. Before we got on, he said, "Dude, I must really love you to fucking do this, because you know how long it takes me to grow this beard back. Me, don't have that problem.
Takes a little while, so I'm being mustachioed for a bit."
Dude, you're rocking the shit out of it, though. Can I just say you're rocking the absolute shit out of it? Like, I would honestly say you might want to stick around with it for a little bit. You did very well. You did a good job on, especially with how thick the Lasso stash is.
Thank you.
For me,
he's every fucking where, Roy Kent! Roy Kent! He's every fucking where, Roy Kent!
I don't know entirely if the show was possible for me if there wasn't Brett Goldstein playing this role. For me, when this show came out, for all intents and purposes, understanding my timeline in the sport, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. This helped lead me in to a full season of football. This helped me understand the game outside of the pitch a little bit. Granted, there was a lot of life lesson stuff that they put into it, and the all of the producers and writers of the show, between Jason Sudeikis and Brett Goldstein, and Brendan Hunt, and a few of the other executives, they really took the time to, I feel, appease both sides of the water. For those of you that have kind of written it off before you even gave it a chance because you just saw it was just an American coaching a Premier League side and whatever, I honestly encourage you to give it the chance that it deserves. And me saying that without this particular character, I wouldn't have gotten involved. I kind of feel that because where I love Jason Sudeikis, and I think he's a great comedian, and Brendan Hunt to boot, right underneath of him, and then play off of each other, was super cool. You know what I mean? Especially because of their love of the game over here, specifically with their MLS clubs. I believe Brendan Hunt has a piece of LAFC as well as Sudeikis. Whoever's in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong. If Cam's still here, he may know a little bit more and have a little more insight into that part. But without the character Roy Kent, I don't know how much I would have identified with the show. I'm the rough one of the two, if you couldn't tell. I'm also the foul mouth one. I'm also the foul mouth one of the two. I identify with his character so much, not because he was, born in England, played for Chelsea, won a Champions League, won some Premier Leagues with them, and was basically a washed out, grumpy South Londoner. For me, it was the way that he looked at the game, the way he looked at life, the way that he took things on. Is very reminiscent of how I do things. I'm not afraid to tell you how I feel. I'm also not afraid to let shit slide, but I'm also the type that will bottle up my emotions and it will come out in anger for no reason at all. I think the dynamic between the character of Ted Lasso and Roy Kent, how they're complete and total opposites, only fits me and Joe perfectly. Joe is very much the optimist. I am very much, in times, the pessimist. I would rather take my anger out on the pitch, where Joe would rather give you a compliment sandwich. I don't do the compliment sandwich. I forget the bun every time. But
Straight
no.
meat. Straight meat.
But no, for the both of us, this show just, especially for the newcomer to the game, I feel it's really important that you get to see this part of the game, even though it's a fictional story. It shows a lot of the different lessons that the game can teach you. And I know that because I've witnessed it myself, not only through personal experiences in my life, but then also watching my child grow through the game. It's absolutely touching. It's a great story. It gets a little too woke for me there at the end. I'm not gonna lie, but you kind of glaze over that once you really take into account the substance that you're getting from it. It's not just a comedy story about Americans taking the piss out of football. It's so far from that. It shows people coming to an understanding, finding mutual ground. And then again, like I said, just life lessons. There are life lessons through every single one of the episodes. And I think, especially with media today, that's something that we miss on. Like growing up for me and Joe, for most Americans whom are between the ages of 35 and 50, we grew up on having TGIF, which thank God it's Friday, which was a 2-hour block of nothing but family sitcoms. Every one of them, every week, had a life lesson. As a kid, you didn't see those life lessons because you were just worried about seeing DJ or Stephanie or Steve Urkel or whatever the fuck. Topanga. Oh my God, Topanga. You can't forget Topanga. You cannot forget Topanga. Daniel Fishel is an American gem. It's really good to see that there are shows like that coming back out because I feel as if the world has lost its moral fiber. We've got to get back to a place where everybody can be civil to each other and not go to the place of, because you're different, I'm going to make you feel like less of a person. I see that a lot on the internet. It's unbecoming. We've seen it a lot lately, especially with certain demographics in England. I'm not going to say anything in particular. Just the utter nastiness that is through the veil of a screen is ridiculous. I promise you that if any one of you would step to us in public, one or two things would happen. Either you run away or you try to talk it out because you realize you were in the wrong. We're actually really good people. And we really do mean well for this club, and we do mean well for this sport. We desperately want to see it grow the way it should have grown over 100 years ago. Little do people know that there have been multiple leagues that have come through the United States, not just the MLS. The original league actually started in 1901, if I believe, or if I remember correctly. And there were quite a few stars that came from across the pond to play in this league. It was the prestigious league. We've fallen off of that. We've gotten away from our ways, and a lot of it had to do with the world wars. Now that we're back into this place and more Americans are trying to join in on the fun, we see a lot of people trying to take that away from them. And I think that is poor form. I think it creates a stain on the England shirt that should not be there. And for no other reason, the fact that, and I don't mean this to be mean, but it's a fact. Without us, you would be an island of craters. It's as simple as that. Treating us disrespectfully because of what you see on the media, that's not okay, guys. It's just not. Because that's not how every American is. And I made allude to that just a little bit earlier about people in D.C. What you see on the TV, it's no different than what your mommy and your daddy told you when they showed you a scary movie when you were younger. It's not real. It's not the way things really are.
The whole point of the news business is to get you to watch it. So what are they going to do? They're going to pick the most outrageous, outlandish person in a scenario that they can find and put them on the TV and just shine a big old bright spotlight on it to try to that frames people's opinions and views on things, unfortunately. And that's a news issue across the board, whichever news station you subscribe to, whether you're across the pond, whether you're here, all news places have an agenda, and they're going to do what they need to do to get you to watch it. So, and
to make your choices based off of what they say.
Yes.
Especially as it stands right now in America, with this being election season, and we're only 7 days away from the next elected president of the United States. There's a lot of shit throwing that happens, and it is your job as a citizen, for those of you here in America and even you abroad during your elections, to do your homework and do some research. The internet will only tell you so much. The telly will only tell you so much. And they always will make a truth out of a lie and a lie into a truth. Know exactly what you're reading, what you're hearing, and what you're saying, because I can promise you, as somebody who voted one way the last election and said all the mean, nasty, ridiculous things that I said, over the next 4 years, I spent the time figuring out how exactly wrong I was. and how misguided I was, and I was taking my information from all of said resources where I shouldn't have been, and I should have been reading a little bit deeper. That probably went down a road that it shouldn't have, and I know that had nothing to do with Ted Lasso, but it all corresponds in some way, shape, or form, or else we wouldn't fucking say it. Let's get to the fun part of this. Before we do that, I'm gonna read off some comments. Stu finally just decided to show up as per usual at the end. I want to take the piss out of you every time you do that too. Every time. Here at my regularly scheduled time, as he said.
Always need their daddy.
That's, you know what, and I can't even be mad at that. That's why I don't even get on your shit. I just take the small piss out of you. Yes, fuck the Carabao Cup.
Absolutely.
Remember getting the 3D glasses and magazine for TGIF. Yes, I do remember that weekend. Thank you for bringing that one up. That was a deep reach, and I'm proud of you for digging that deep. Let's talk about some holiday movies that we tend to gravitate towards this time of season. Joe, what are some of your favorite, both family and personal Halloween horror movies?
Family wise, obviously we are a Disney family, so we rock out to some Halloween Town. We rock out to Hocus Pocus. We just recently watched Coraline again. We usually watch it every year.
Love Tim Burton.
Can't go wrong there. We watched Frank and Weenie for the first time recently as a family. Everybody really enjoyed that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then on a less kid level, now that Jordan has matured more and she's getting older, she's 13. We are introducing her to all of the Scream movies, and we've gotten through the first 3 of them. She loves her a good slasher film, so we're getting through and introducing her into those. So big fan of the slashers. I'm not a huge horror movie guy, so for me, I like the slashers and the psychological thriller type movies.
Paranormal.
Yeah. Well, no, those were the ones that scare the shit out of me.
Okay.
I like thrillers. I don't mind the anything that has to do with demons, God, that kind of stuff creeps me out like nobody's business. So those ones are Under Wraps, solid choice. What was it? Don't Look Under the Bed. That was the Boogeyman one where they had that one was a classic Disney Channel original right there from back in the day as a kid. But those are kind of our staples, and then we're expanding our more adult films with Jordan now that she's older and can handle it. So,
Steve, thanks for chilling out with us tonight, man.
For an hour and a half. Good looks, man.
For an hour and a half. Appreciate you from all the way across, hanging out with those ladies you do. So,
Much appreciated, evening. Bro.
Much appreciated, and have a happy Halloween.
Oh, and we just watched Casper yesterday. Day before.
Dude, no shit.
Yeah.
Same. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Can't go wrong with Casper.
Cannot go wrong with Christina Ricci.
Can I keep you?
Okay. Can I tell you that when he said that, Aiden looked right at me and he goes, "Well, that's creepy." A little bit. Devin Sawa definitely brought the creepage in that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. So family movies, same. Hocus Pocus is always top tier. Halloween Town is a good Disney throw in. For me growing up, my Halloween movies were like Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice.
Forgot that one. Beetlejuice too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's that I love Tim Burton. So then there was also The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now my mom was like, for some reason, of all the Tim Burton movies that I had watched prior to that, she was not having me watch that, and I don't know why. Still to this day, why she was so against it. But there is the debate on whether or not The Nightmare Before Christmas is actually a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. So let's debate that a little bit, especially in the comments. Do you believe that The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas or Halloween movie? Joe.
We typically watch it in the space between the two. We usually will watch it shortly after Halloween's done and helps us transition from Halloween to Christmas in that like November. So we'll usually watch it in that time frame. So for me, yeah, fine, exactly.
Exactly. It's a Thanksgiving movie.
It's the ease into transition from your scary Halloween horror movies into your Christmassy movies. So for me, it's smack dab in the middle. That's when we watch it as a family. We haven't watched it yet. We watch it right in that in between stage.
You know, for the rest of my life, if I had never met you, I probably would have never ever thought to do that. For me, it's a Christmas movie. And it's probably just because I'm a dark individual. Deep inside, I'm a dark individual. For me, it's showing the story of somebody who's lived their whole life into this realm of nothing but creepy darkness, right? And now he's discovered Christmas, and wow, what a wonderful thing. So why wouldn't it be a Christmas movie, right? But I totally see the perspective of it being that halfway through the transition period. And now I'm not going to be able to unthink that. And it's probably...
You're welcome.
Right? So, you know, after Yellowstone restarts again in 11 days.
Soon.
Yeah, I am going to probably decide that's when I'm going to do it and see how it fits. You know, put it on, when I walk around.
See what
like
you
Nick
think.
Shelley.
Yep. Exactly. How's the croche? Is croche too loose? The croche looks loose to me.
This is awkward. Let's watch Santa on Krampus. Actually, funny enough, my mom's third husband, whom is very German, said that one year, and I was like, you are absolutely out of your fucking mind. I'm not as bad as I make myself out to be.
I told folks on an episode a while back that he's got a much bigger heart than he lets people see. So,
yeah, I don't let a lot of people see my big heart because it has not boded well for me. Much
people are dicks and they take advantage of people who do that.
Especially ones that are fucking behind a screen and I can't see their faces. Little twats.
Any like Halloween traditions that you guys do?
No. You know why? Because unfortunately to the world, me and my family live separate for the time being. So I don't really get very many these type of holidays with them.
Unless it falls
in
like
the
on a
past,
weekend.
Yeah. In the past, you know, we've dressed him up and stuff like that, and he's gone out trick-or-treating, but he suddenly went from 7 to 16 and didn't want to trick or treat this year. So actually tonight he's with a bunch of his teammates and they're doing like a whatever. I don't really know what to call it. But I will say that I will contradict you on the movie thing. For me, I love paranormal. I think it's the coolest shit ever. I'm not going to lie to anybody on here and say that The Exorcist doesn't still slightly scare the shit out of me.
Yes.
Only because of the rooting of it and knowing, well, deep in my beliefs, that shit's real. So it still creeps me out, but I literally force myself to watch those type of movies because I love that scared feeling. I don't know why. I don't know if that's like a trauma response or like or what, but
different strokes for different folks, man.
Literally, I do this every year by myself. I take the whole Conjuring universe and I watch it in order the way that it should be
Steph
watched.
just finished doing that same exact thing over the past 6 weeks or so.
Dude,
But
those
that's
stories
a
are
solo
so
trip because I'm
good.
like I watched like 1 or 2 with, and I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm good
Those
here.
stories are so good, but if you know
It's extremely well written.
they are, they're and the characters that are in it, or excuse me, the actors that are in it, that play Ed and Lorraine Warren, absolutely awesome. And to boot,
Mhm.
actually, the lady who plays Lorraine Warren, she actually, she is the lead singer of like a death metal band,
Perfect.
right? But no, they did a really good job on that. But if anybody knows the real story behind Ed and Lorraine Warren, the more and more as I uncover about them, I find them just to be scam artists. Because it falls right in line for me, the same with like psychic mediums and shit like that.
Mhm.
Like all you're doing is you're playing on somebody's emotions and you're making money off of it, and shame on you for doing that. My aunt, she goes to a psychic. My uncle recently just died, and my grandfather, her father died a few years back. I want to say it was 2017. Um, and she started getting into it, and I mean, she pays stupid money for this shit. And I'm like, do you really think that they're telling you the fucking truth, or do you not realize you're being scammed? Like, I don't
Mhm.
know how to tell her in person. I know that she'll never fucking see this, so I don't care to say it out in public, but it's just like, dude, you're. No, there's so many things I could say that I'm not going to say. I don't want to paint a bad picture of my hand.
Yeah, let's not do
But
that.
let's not do that. Let's not poo-poo talk your family, right? Especially before the holidays. But yeah, for me, it's the depth of the scare that makes it so fun for me.
Mhm.
If I watch a slasher or a thriller of any kind, it don't do it for me. Like I actually, I just watched on Daily Wire Plus. Um, they have this movie called Run Hide Fight, and it's about like a school shooting, right? And I went through it because I really wanted to see it and see how they did the whole thing, whatever. And you'd think that it would like give you that like sense of urgency or like that panic inside, and it should probably for the average person, but not me. I just was like, okay, these guys that are trying to hold this whole school hostage, they are fucking morons. They're doing this all
Mhm.
wrong. I'm judging them the whole time. Yeah,
Yes,
but
I do that
yeah,
too. I've watched far too much, like Criminal Minds, Blue Bloods, all those kind of shows where just poke holes in everybody's poorly laid plans because you see how many times people do shit wrong. And Dexter and stuff like that. Like,
Dexter. See that keeps me. And then what's fucked up about the whole Dexter thing is it's literally the same fucking story over and over and over again. You just get like the whole season is a new one that he's after, but like every episode is still rinse and repeat. I'm just killing somebody because they deserve it.
mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Favorite
now
favorite candy to pull out of the bag when the kid's done trick or treating. What's the first one you grab out of there?
if I'm so lucky, the first, and this roots back to childhood. The first candy that I look and seek out for, I don't know why, but I love the mini crunch bars.
Yes, those are good.
Yes.
The bite
Second,
size.
second will always be whatever season Reese form there is. Whether it's a pumpkin, trees, fucking bunny rabbit, I don't care. Those are the best fucking Reese's ever.
The goat seasonal Reese's though will always be the egg.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tree
Yeah,
Christmas
the
tree
egg, not
second.
the bunny. Yeah.
Pumpkin I'm okay on, but the egg is Ryan, what I meant by that when the kid is done trick or treating, not done with their candy.
You have to pay the troll toll every time. Egg is goated, 100%.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm especially because Jordan is not a Reese's fan. She's not a big peanut butter fan. So whatever Reese's she gets in her bag, I'm like, I'll take all of those.
Fine.
I'll take all of those.
Yeah.
Because Elliot's got plenty in hers, and I know she's going to eat those, but Jordan's not touching. So, and I'm a huge fan of um, Snickers. So Snickers is up there for me too.
Did you see the ones they did this year with the green shit in it?
I had it, and it
Oh
was
my god, me too!
Mhm. I was like, that's interesting. I'll take one of those. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a bag with the Snickers and the Twix
Yep.
that had the green centers. Oh my god, yeah, I was so about that. Here's a controversial one. Whoppers. Take it or leave it. Down? Okay.
No thanks.
So
I'll save those for others that enjoy them.
Right? So you can give those all to me. When I was growing up, I don't know why, and to be fair, some of the neighborhoods I lived in the east side of the outskirts of Pittsburgh were not the best. Whoppers seemed to be abundant. So I got used to it and I liked it. And plus my mom loved them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was an automatic take from my bag. And then I mean, you just can't go wrong with a mini size, the little 4-piece Hershey bars. I don't know
Straight
why.
chocolate.
Yeah, dude. My favorite Hershey is Hershey with almonds. If I'm being honest,
Yes.
that's my favorite.
Mine too.
Yeah, but it's the little ones that do it for me, and I don't know why. I don't know if they do something like extra to them or whatever. Like maybe they're injecting them with some like fucking shit. They don't know. They do stuff to our food here in America, so it's not beyond the thought process.
On the Snickers kick, it's
Yeah.
always goaded to get like the full size candy bar handed to you. But I low key love because you know they have like snack size and bite size. The square junks are like the perfect mixture of Snicker wrapped into one bite, dude. Give me that square one. Give me a whole handful. I'm just putting them down.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. S'mores. S'mores is a great full-time thing that not a lot of our UK brethren know about. So s'mores, if you don't know what a s'mores is, it is a marshmallow put on a stick, roasted in a fire. Then you take a piece of chocolate and graham crackers, right? A whole graham cracker. I don't even think you guys get graham crackers in the UK, to be honest. Graham cracker is like a rectangle. It has 4 little slots. You can snap the bitch in half. You put 2 pieces of Hershey's chocolate on the graham. You put the chocolate on the graham. Right, I knew exactly where I was going with that. You put the chocolate on the graham, right? And then you put the mallow on the chocolate, and then you put the graham on top of the mallow, and you pull the stick out, and holy fucking shit, you have one of the best dessert concoctions ever known to fucking man. But yes, the perfect s'more size Hershey is what I'm talking about, and then you stuff it. How can I have some more of something when I haven't had anything? If you haven't seen The Sandlot, try to find it somewhere. Do yourself a favor. A piece of Americana that is forever ingrained in all of our brains. There isn't a summer that goes by that I don't watch that fucking movie, by the way.
Facts.
Let's see. What are some other Halloween tingy tings that we can talk about before we decide to bust the fuck out of here? This then followed by one of the greatest lines of all time. You're killing me, Smalls.
Dude, right there.
I really hate that we don't hang out like on a regular basis and that I live like almost 2 hours away from you guys. It sucks because I really feel like there's some boys' nights that could really, really go in. Okay, that's a good question. Stu, thoughts on Hocus Pocus 2? Now, my first opinion is Hannah Waddingham. Goddamn.
Check.
Right? My second opinion is, what the fuck happened to Sarah Jessica Parker, man? Ugh. She was hot in the first one. Hot!
She got a lot of work done post Sex in the City, I think.
Clearly, because that nose was double the size that it was in the first one. Third, Bette Midler. Bette Midler just being old as it was to begin with, and then reprising her role and being old as fuck again. I don't know. She's always giving me the heaps, to be honest. I don't know why. There's other reasons why, now that I'm an adult, why I don't like her, but like, yeah. And then the third one, whom I remember being in like some show my mom used to watch, she was in Sister Act, but she was also in a TV show my mom used to watch growing up, and I can't remember. It was like Designing Women, I think it was what it was. It was kind of like the younger version of Golden Girls, if I'm being honest.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. She was in it, and she was kind of like a Kirstie Alley, where she would thin out, and then she would fatten up, and then she would thin out, and then she would really fatten up. Now she's thin in this movie, so it was really, I would rather her have been what she looked like previous in the first movie. she like, I don't know, she took like a bunch of Ozempic or something. And then what else can I say about that one? I mean, it was done good, but like in the end, like you would have liked to have seen the original characters. Like I would have liked to have seen Max. I would have liked to have seen the chick, whom I thought in the first one, I had a massive crush on that girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Oh.
For nostalgia's sake, I think it was fun. Did they do the best job? I think there were some rewrites that could have been done to make it a little better, punch it up a little bit, but
they also
for nostalgia purposes, yeah,
they worked it up a little bit.
So,
I'm kind of a proponent of no sequels, like Leave It Alone, in the case of like a classic and them trying to spin the tires desperately 30 years later, purely on nostalgia. I mean, that's facts. That's facts. But I mean, people could probably say that to Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? We're talking about a movie that came out nearly 40 years, well, 35 years in difference. And people still thought that the second one was pretty damn good. I think Michael Keaton reprising that role was pertinent in order for it to even exist. Not to mention he's from Pittsburgh. But on the whole, no. Hocus Pocus 2 is kind of a wash. I mean, like you said, you really can't outdo the first one. Like,
it is what it was.
It is what it was. Home Alone 2 was the only one that actually was worth the second one. Like, it was okay the second one happened. But then they did the third and the fourth one, and they did it with different characters. Like, if they would have reprised that today and flipped the roles of Kevin being the parent and him having a child, and his child was worse than him, like, that might be watchable.
Yes.
Spaceman with the drum. Oh, dude,
still haven't watched it. Still haven't watched it.
Absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. Well, guys, it's been real. We have been here for almost 2 hours. This is the longest extra time that we have ever had. Someone go ahead and blow the whistle. Thank you guys for sticking around with us tonight, all 28 of yous. Could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us. We were going to do a few predictions on the ball with Bournemouth, but I think that, granted, where things are right now, that's probably not the best thing to do. So we're gonna table this. Could have been anywhere else in the world. You're here with us tonight. We appreciate you. Make sure that you like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell to make sure that you're up to date with all of us whenever we get on. What are you laughing at? Bye. Love you. I'll be like 5 minutes. Okay, cool. Could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us tonight. Appreciate it. Hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you're up with us. Make sure you're following us on social media at Snobby Pod. That is all platforms. We're everywhere. Until Sunday, we'll leave you with we'll leave you with I think this one fits.
But don't look back in anger. I heard you say.
Hi, everybody. Have a good week.
Believe.
And believe.
Don't forget to believe.
Believe.